we got to get to the Portland Trailblazers because y'all, Chill, you were already on this. You had called this before the season. Now, there were some of us that said they would be a good team, and I think that the Portland Trailblazers are going to push towards the playoffs. Chill, we don't know if they're going to make it, but this is what we do know about Portland. They are going to make you play basketball for a full 48 minutes, and you're going to have to go to overtime with them if need be. Now, Mars has said that he thinks Tamani Kamara is the best and most versatile defender in the league in terms of just most versatile, and I think there's an argument for it. Yesterday, Denny Advia only made 5 shots, but he was 26 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He actually played really, really well down the stretch of the game. Tamani Kamara had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Played really good defense on SGA last night. Shaedon Sharpe, 18 points, y'all, 6 of 15 from the field. Drew Holiday, though, starting point guard. I know Houston Rockets fans would love to have this player on their roster. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 of 16. And honestly, the numbers don't do justice just how good he was. Jeremy Grant had 9 points off the bench. He continues to close for them down the stretch. Did the same thing versus Denver. Did the same thing versus the Thunder. He played very well last night. SGA, a little bit of a struggle bus. He was just 10 to 26 from the field, but he got 35 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. And he got to the line 13 times. He was doing what he always does. He's able to continue to create contact and get to the free throw line. AJ Mitchell taking like a star-level leap for a role player, 21 points yesterday. He looked really good. He was 7 of 11 from the field. And, y'all, if you didn't watch this game chat, go back and watch it on NBA.com. You can go look at all the highlights because, chill, what happened is that SGA, because he had to play a little bit more defense than he normally had, he had to get really aggressive, got 4 fouls really quickly yesterday, and then Ox picked up his 5th foul down the stretch of the 4th quarter. And what they did was great. This is what you got to do. They were hunting SGA repeatedly. Now, SGA, to his credit, had played good defense, but when you get in the 5th foul and you're also the only reason your team is there right now, so you just can't play the same kind of defense as normal. They hunted SGA on 4 straight possessions and got 4 straight buckets. At this point, though, Chill, I was on your side, Mark. Remember we had your argument about ghost screens and not switching and not giving up? I was just like, yo, stop making him go one-on-one because Denny, who's developed a lot, he would get SGA on a drive. I'm talking Damien. He would do the swing underneath, and SGA just kind of had to let go and let it fly, and he would get in a layup. But great job by the Portland Trailblazers. They get a narrow victory by 2 points, win the game at the free throw line. Chill, I'll do you the honors.
The thing that I have to accept the fact that 20-point leads in the NBA are not that bad. Like we can make 20 up like quickly. 20 points, and I used to think that you get 15, you get 18 in a hole, you dead, and that's largely due to the fact that I'm still stuck on what was. No, because of the invention of the long ball, and because of how fast these guys play today, we could turn 20 into 12 in less than a minute. We could turn 20 into 8 in less than 3 minutes. We can get right back in the game, and I felt like the Trailblazers, when Drew Holiday got going, they got right back in that game. The key to this, and I got to give Coach T, I got to give Coach Splitter a lot of praise because I think what he did, I think he outcoached Coach Dagnall last night. Dagnall went to that small ball lineup. He's got SGA on the floor with Wiggins, Mitchell, SGA, Wiggins, Mitchell, Joe, and Hartenstein. He has them on the floor. He keeps his big lineup with Danny Avia, Grant. He's got Drew Holiday. He's got Kamara. And he's got Klingon, who I would love for Klingon, even though he's young, I'd love for him to start to look at the basket a little bit more because what you can't be is you can't just be a big out here that's on the floor. I'd like for him to look at the basket a little bit more, Ox. And I think that once, he gets more comfortable in his offense, he will. But I think that they took advantage of that small lineup. I thought that Danny Advia, I thought he did a great job when we got into the meat and potatoes of the game, attacking those small guys, getting downhill. He punched one down the lane. Wow, that should have been an and one, actually, Ox. The one that he punched down the lane. I thought that was great. Not only that, I think Kamara is just getting more and more comfortable with his catch and shoot at the long ball line. And you dudes, maybe it's the left-handed thing, but tell me if I'm out of line. And this might sound crazy. I think that Kamara is what I think he's going to be in terms of defense and offense because I think he's going to be a better scorer. I think he's going to be a better version of what Kelly Oubre was supposed to be. Like, I think Kelly Oubre was supposed to be a really good player in terms of offense and defense. And when I look at Kamara, bigger, I think he's going to be a better version of that. Knockdown jump shooter, kind of like what Kelly Oubre is right now playing with Tyrese Maxey, but much better on the perimeter. I do think that he overexerts himself a lot of times on closeouts and in fouls, because at the end of that game,
was that fair? Was that a fair whistle, Chill?
100% is a fair whistle. We have a rule in the game.
He jumped into him.
I don't think that was a foul, but
100%
he jumped forward. He jumped forward, Chill.
Isaiah Joe leans as far into that as he could.
The refs did their best to give that to OKC.
First and foremost, they have a rule. You are in my landing space. You know that as a defender. So you knowing that as a defender, there's a way that you have to close out. You can't stand up underneath the guy, especially at that juncture of the game, because you can end up getting a whistle, right? And Kamara, I think that his closeouts a lot of times get him in trouble because he lands a lot of times in guys' landing space. I think he's great with his hands. I think he's great as a one-on-one defender. I thought that he was as good as he could possibly be with SGA, making SGA take that tough fall-away shot on the wing. But I thought he did as good a job as he possibly can. The problem is he finds himself in those spaces where he can foul. But this Portland Trailblazer team, offensively down the stretch, I thought that they were great in that fourth quarter. They weren't good early on in the game, but I thought that they were great in the fourth quarter. This Trailblazer team, they're on to something, man. I do. I like what I'm seeing with this Trailblazer team. But I can tell you one thing, Mars, that I'm standing on. I mean, for every one game we lose, we win 8. I think that's 75 wins for the season.
Chill. They're not even healthy.
That's all I got to say about that.
Like, so for me, Chill. I left practice last night and rushed to go catch as much of this game as I could. So I only got to see the fourth quarter, y'all. I'm gonna admit that I didn't get to see the first 3, but the fourth quarter I did see was very impressive from the Portland Trailblazers. And shout out to them. I think they played with a lot of aggression on the defensive end. They're tenacious, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They're really good what I saw. Shout out to Drew Holiday. I know some of y'all thought he was washed. But anyways, can we maybe calm down a little bit? We do know that, the OKC was missing, 3 starters? Like 4,
Yeah, but OKC missing 28 starters is still one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, I do understand that. But what I'm saying is, let's not say just because they beat OKC, let's not make it seem like that puts the Trailblazers at the top of the West. Like, they beat the best team. You know, that's what I'm saying. Let's reel it in a little bit. They beat a very good team, Mars. I'm with you on that. I feel you. The OKC is still really good. I feel you, but it's different with J-Dub. It's different with Chet. It's different with with the Caruso and them. It's a little different. So although I'm still really excited about what the Blazers did last night, and I think they beat OKC and beat the refs. I'm still acknowledging, like, this is still not, and I don't want to come off as
they're
like
not
I'm
winning
hating on
a
the Blazers,
championship. Yo. Yeah,
no,
if I told you after 8 games, the Blazers had their schedule was Minnesota, Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Jazz, Nuggets, Lakers, Thunder. That's their schedule. If I told you they'd be 5-3 after playing what I would probably deem to be the hardest schedule in the league. Outside of the Jazz, they played a lot of good teams. Now, context, obviously, they played the Lakers without Luka and Reeves and Bron, and they actually lost that game. But that schedule being 5-3, I think you would take that if you're a Blazers fan. Like, it can really only get easier from here. Like, there's no way it gets harder than that. Like, they've been in every game as well. To start.
Right.
And they've blown out some good teams too.
To your point, Mars, I'm in Portland, and the people of Portland, they're excited for this basketball team. So you're right about that. Like, these games that Portland, the Trailblazers have been showing that they're here to compete and they want to win, and that's what they're doing. They're competing and they're winning some games. So shout out to them once again. I don't want to come off like I'm speaking down on the Blazers. I'm more so just saying, like, OKC isn't full throttle. I just want to remind us that. Let's not use this as a gauge of what that is.
We're not moving in, Ox. We just dating. We had a really good date. It was nice. We had a good time. Let's relax. We're not
right.
We're not taking it there.
She responded to the 2 a.m. text. So
that's it. That's all it is. Like, we ain't moving in together. We're not getting matching bed sets and no shit like that. No, relax. We had a good time. So and we got something good going on right now. Let's just keep that going. So I like what they're doing with the Trailblazers. I do. I really like what they're doing with the Trailblazers. I wasn't. To your point, Damian, I wasn't comfortable saying what I said about Houston last year. I wasn't comfortable because I didn't think that the Trailblazers were that good going into the season. Like I was selling Mars on Houston before the season started last year. I didn't think the Trailblazers were that good, but I did think that they were better than what people were giving them credit for, and I thought that they were onto something.
Are they better than the Mavericks?
Right now, yes. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Memphis?
Mavericks.
Yes,
Oh,
they
they're
are.
better than Memphis.
Well, better than the Mavericks, who might be the worst team in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than the Mavericks. They're better than the Grizzlies. They're better than a lot of teams in the Western Conference right now. And I remember last year I said this is like the team of ultimate third options. Like they have so many third options. This is before they added Drew Holiday. I just thought like this was a team that was perfect for a star. Like I didn't know which star. It could be literally any top 20 player, top 15 player can go over to this team and have everything you could possibly need. You have secondary creators, you have defenders, you have rim protectors. Donovan Clingan hit a 3. Shout outs to Donovan Clingan, man. So you got depth across the roster. I think at some point, if this team is like sniffing 8 seed, 7 seed, 6 seed, I wonder if they would consider a consolidation trade. Robert Williams, Drew Holiday, guys like this. I wonder if they would, because this is a team that just lost to the G League Lakers just like 3 days ago. Like we don't remember that. Like they lost to a team without Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. They lost to Nick Smith Jr.
Do you think they just might have took their? Do you think they just might have took their foot off the gas?
20% from 3.
I saw them get thoroughly handled in the fourth quarter. I appreciate the mental approach of seeing LeBron, Luka, and AR-15 are out, so we're just gonna coast to a win and getting caught. You know, I get that, but at the same time, like I watched them have a lead, squander the lead, and not be able to do anything about it. I watched Drew Holiday airballing shots. Like, I mean,
but to be fair, Penn, you did say, and I think this is not a gotcha. This is more you're pointing out something that is true on both ends. That they literally, you just said a 20-point lead in the NBA is not what it used to be. And I think Chill might have said that.
Chill said that.
Yeah, Chill said that. Chill said a 20-point lead is not what it used to be. Well, the 3-point line has made it's the ultimate equalizer. If you don't make yours and I make mine, I can beat anybody. Washington can beat the fully healthy Thunder. We saw the Nuggets even in preseason. They played without I think Gordon, Jokic, Murray, and without Christian Brown. And I think the Thunder were fully healthy. They beat them 59-46 in the first half, in part because of 3-point shooting. I mean, if you just can't hit threes, then anybody can catch you on a given day. And I think Portland, they're really good. And I'll be curious to see how they continue to get better. I was very impressed about the Portland Trailblazers last year. They went on a stretch march. I think they were like top 10 for 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something like that. They were performing really well. They were playing really well. Donovan Clingan. And the thing is, Chill, they're kind of biting off the OKC playbook because they're screaming versatility. They got wings. They got guards. They got bigs. They got bigs that can switch. They got bigs that don't have to play because you can put Tumani Kamara and Matisse Thybulle at the 5. So we will see, I think, over the course of the year, you might be proven right. I don't know if top 6 is on the table, but for sure I can see a path where they end up being top 8, Chill.
Damian, you were going to make a point about the Trailblazers. I want to.
Oh, yeah. I think that the league moves fast, so most people have probably forgotten, but we've all played in high-level teams. And they went through that early season turmoil a little bit with Chauncey Billups. And that can make or break a team sometimes when you throw in that type of drama and you've been with a coach for your entire preseason and last year, and then all of a sudden he's gone and Thiago Splitter has to pick up the slack and you don't know what that's going to look like and does he have different player preferences and all these things. So credit to Portland to just getting on with the job. You know, I think that's been really impressive as well. And I think Ox made a good point on Drew Holiday. I know initial reports came out that when he was traded there, he actually didn't want to go because he wanted to be a part of a contender. I was someone who personally thought he was on the back end of what he could give to a team. But then when looking back, I don't think the Olympics did him any good in terms of the load because he went from winning a championship, then he played the Olympics, and then the last year with Boston, he didn't look that great because he probably had done too much. But he looks unbelievable for Portland. He's been incredible. And I just want to shout out Duop Reith as well, because when they were 20 points down, I know he's Australian, but he hit 3 threes, by the way.
Please put me on to him. Who is this kid?
Yeah, he's Aussie for our national team. So him and Jock Landale will probably fight for the center position in 28. And shout outs to him because he hit 3 threes in a row in that game to sort of get the momentum going. And I think to swipe it to your point, this team has so much versatility that even if you just look at the center position, when you have Robert Williams, who's a guy who likes to sort of play above the rim, Donovan Clingan, who's a guy who's just a massive body. He looks bigger than everyone on the floor, and you can put him in the paint. Then you got Duop Reith, who's basically just an exclusively stretch big. And then you have Jansen, who's basically like a mini Jokic, and he has the passing. Like, the versatility is incredible. And I think Kamara, I agree with Mars. I think that as a wing defender, to me, he's the best in the league, and he's only getting better. And this Portland team's a scary team, man. Like Jeremy Grant coming off the bench, finishing games, just shows you like what the depth is for this team. They can give you a lot of different looks, and I think we all take the first 20, 30 games with a grain of salt, but with Portland, it only looks like it's going to get better. So, like you said, I don't know if top 6 is on the table, but damn, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough all season long.
I didn't have them as a playoff team. I had them playing their way into the playoffs before the season started. I thought that they would be that good off the strength of how good the Western Conference is. And I didn't think that they would be, a top 3, top 4 seed. But what I vividly remember is Mars and I had a conversation, I believe it was in the summer, not this summer that just passed, but last summer, where the Houston Rockets, I think that they were maybe 3 games. We're probably a month away from the season being over. They were like 3 games out of the play-in spot. And I really thought that this team was on to something, only to find out that the next year they were a top 5 seed. I felt like with the Western Conference being so much better this year, and the same thing happened with the Trailblazers, where we were a month away from the season ending. And Portland was, I think they were 3 games out of a play-in spot or playing for the play-in. I didn't think that they were as good as Houston. I didn't think that defensively they were good as Houston, but I did think that with the group that they had coming back, adding Drew Holiday in terms of the vets that they had, I don't know much about this kid Reed. That's why I was asking you, Damian, who is this kid? Because he comes into the game like I fit. He comes into the game, he's clapping his hands, he's asking for the ball. There is no wide-eyed, bushy, there is nothing scared about him. He comes on the floor, ready for action, knows exactly what he's doing out there, and he's going to make them respect him. And I love that about him. But the fact that
sorry, real quick. Do you know who that lineup reminds me of when they put Doo-Wop out there, or when they put Matisse out there for the 5? Do you remember the Nets in 2022-23? They would go to that 5 out, and they would just rain threes all over the place.
KD, they had
no.
KD.
This is 23, so this is after the KD era when they weren't even that good. But what they would do is they would give teams so many issues, Shield, because they had a Mars. It was Dorian Finney-Smith was playing on that roster, and so they would spread you out, but they had a bunch of switch defenders.
27 point per game Mikal era.
Yep.
That era.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was burners. And this version now, Chill, that you're saying from Portland, it feels similar when they go to that lineup, but they're just so much better defensively. And again, man, I gotta give real shouts to Drew Holiday. I think Drew has gotten a bad rap because of last season. But when you give him an opportunity to lead a ball club and to be the most mature player on the floor, he's still a 19-5-5 player, still a really good defender, and he's developed so much as a jump shooter now that he's a legitimate threat all the way across the floor, Chill.
My issue to counter what you just said, I didn't love the Thibault, Jeremy Grant, Kamara minutes with the small ball lineup, and I didn't love it with going up against the Clippers because I felt like Zubac destroyed that front line. I was thinking that I felt like Thiago Splitter had to make an adjustment, and he stuck with it. But last night, he didn't do that. The Oklahoma City Thunder went with that small lineup, and he stuck with Clingan. He stuck with his bigs, and I think that he counted that in that aspect. I don't love that small ball lineup against big teams like San Antonio. I don't love that small ball lineup against the Clippers. No, I don't. Or when Oklahoma City goes with Chet and Hartenstein, or when they go with the double big lineup. I don't love that small ball lineup. However, it does work against other small ball lineups where I think that they're bigger and I think that they're more versatile. I do like that about them. This Trailblazer team, I think that they're onto something, man. I don't know what exactly, but they definitely are onto something.
So give it a little bit of respect to Thiago Splitter.
Because Thiago's definitely for sure.
But we have talked about JJ Redick being an awesome coach. We have talked about Thiago Splitter being an awesome coach. And I think both guys, if you looked at their resume, it's a little bit bare. It's a little bit bare, right? With JJ, it was completely bare. Literally walked from playing to podcasting to straight to coaching. With Thiago, though, it might be a little bit unknown to NBA fans that he has actually been a player development coach for the Brooklyn Nets. He's, he was obviously an assistant in 2025. He was named as an assistant for the Portland Trailblazers, but he was also a assistant coach for the Houston Rockets. He also coached Paris basketball in LNB Elite, and I think they won a
I know that.
championship. So
No.
all of this like growth from 2018 to 2025 has brought him to this point and readied him for this moment. He is 40 years old, Joe. 40. I say we grew up in an era, you, me, Swiper, I don't know how old Damien is, but probably Damien as well, where coaches were regularly 55 to 60. Regularly. Watching all these guys 37, 38, 40 come into the league and just connect better with this generation of players, I think it's speaking to the Mark Dagnalds of the world, right? Again, when he was hired, he was in his 30s, right? The Joe Mazzulas of the world, still the youngest coach in the league, literally my age, which is crazy to me, thinking that I'm as old as an NBA coach. That's nuts. So
two things, Penn. Really quickly. Number one, it sounds to me like Thiago Splitter, when they asked him to take the job, he was like, I can do it. So he wasn't just thrusted into this job like Mazzulla was. Like when Mazzulla had to take the Boston job, like we got to find somebody, and oh shit, we got this guy on our bench that's the third of. It sounds almost like from what you're telling me that when this whole thing jumped off with Chauncey Billups, that Thiago Splitter was like, I can do it. Yeah, give me the job.
He played under Pop, Chill. He played under Pop. You cannot play under Popovich for 5 straight years and not get anything out of that. Of course, that's a massive experience. He played on his Brazilian national team. That is a lot of experience. He's had a world of basketball experience. He's obviously a very high IQ basketball player. We always saw it with him when he was playing. And now, naturally, having 6 years of kind of on-the-job training, working his way up through the ranks, I think that he is respected. But because he is still that close, he's not that far removed from being a player. He retired in 2018, right? So he still remembers the NBA as it is. There's players probably on his team that have faced him many, many times. Drew Holiday's faced him for over a decade. So that, I think, like,
Jeremy
more
Grant,
so than anything, absolutely.
Like Luka and JJ were teammates.
Exactly. And Luka, I think JJ and Thiago and Joe Mazzulla and Jordi Fernandez, I think what they're proving is coaching is, as much as it is about the experience, the big game experience, the resume, it's about connecting with your players. And I don't think it's crazy to say it's probably a little bit easier for a former player who retired in 2018, or, you know, a guy who played overseas and is coming over now and is just 35, 40 years old, for him to connect with a roster full of 25-year-olds. Because the generation gap has widened so hard right now that, to me, like, some of these older guys like George Karl, it's like, yo, y'all, you weren't born in another century from me. You were born on another fucking planet, right? That's kind of,
but you gotta remember though, Thiago wasn't the first option after Chauncey.
See, that's the part I didn't know, Ox. I remember you said that. I did not know that.
Yeah, he wasn't the first option. There was the other coach. I can't quite remember his name. He turned it down.
He's connected to Chauncey though.
Yeah, him and Chauncey are like really close or whatever like that. So then Thiago got it. But, but regardless though, Pin, what you said still it still stands true. Like, Thiago's doing a great job so far. That's not, so I wasn't saying that to discredit that. I'm kind of even saying that too. Like, sometimes guys get looked over that are more than qualified to do it. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason that may be. I don't know all the.
Was it Nate Bjorkgren?
I could be his name. Pin. I was listening to I got this from when I was listening to NBA radio the other day. I was driving and they were talking about it, and that might be his name, but I didn't like write it down. I tried to remember, but it could have been him.